This episode of Untold Stories is sponsored by Yield App, Nexo, and Kava Labs. You'll hear more about them later on in this episode. All right. What is up, everyone? I am Charlie Shrem, and you are watching and listening a special edition of Untold Stories today because Nexo has turned 3 years old today. Happy birthday, Nexo! And we're so excited to have again an amazing guest, Antoni Trenchev. Tony, thank you so much. You're the founder and CEO of Nexo, one of the largest crypto lenders in the space. Not only that, but a whole suite of it's a whole suite of products and services from lending, borrowing, staking, everything, exchanging. What you guys have offered, we've had you on a few times, and I'm happy to have you back, not only to celebrate the birthday, but and talk about why it's so important that a company's been around 3 years, but kind of getting into some really good macro, what's going on in the macro world today, getting into a little bit more about Nexo. And I have to say, like, there aren't many CEOs who are willing to continuously come on the show and using it to update their community and things like that. So kudos off to you and happy birthday. Well, not to you, but to the
Oh,
company. But it's your birthday too.
yeah. Thank you so much. It's a birthday for the entire team, for the company, for our clients, the investors. It's just like an amazing day throughout. And you look at a few mirrors in the rear view, and there are quite a few accomplishments we're proud of. So, really glad to be on today and touch upon some of the more exciting things that happened in the past 3 years and what lies ahead.
It's not only that, but you're making you I feel like you guys are you're Bulgarian, and I feel like coming from a smaller country, you probably make, your friends and your family very proud. It's like the same thing. I think Robinhood's founder is Bulgarian too. So it's like, I hear all the time from my Bulgarian friends that, like, oh, they're excited that the Robinhood founder is Bulgarian. So like that must mean a lot to you as well.
Well, it does. I mean, I am proud of my heritage. I'm proud that the vast majority of the team is Bulgarian and we are having significant operations out of Bulgaria because, the business thing is one thing. But if you, as you mentioned, in a smaller country, like when you set an example, like Estonia had Skype, Sweden had a bunch of different fintech and all types of
Finland, I think
startups.
Nokia, right, or
Finland,
something.
exactly. Like this type of successes, they make a change on its own because, like, we are used to not be relying on the politicians having our back and doing anything useful for us. So, with the other founders and particularly with Costa, who is very big on the topic, he's, by the way, the original idea of Nexo is to be attributed to him. And we're very big on precisely this, changing the environment that we work with by staying outside of politics, but setting an example with how you can better the circumstances of a large number of people just by being successful and setting an environment like that.
You've what you and your industry, and you guys are industry leaders, but what you guys do and what your industry does, people don't realize how important it is, because if the infrastructure of being able to borrow against, be able to stake, be able to earn yield, and be able to do liquidity, be able to like spread liquidity around, allow people to be able to manage their treasury and companies, it would have potentially prevented the 2017 big burst, because that was a big cascade of domino Ethereum selling after all these major ICOs. Like, how do you see that differently now? How do you see companies and people managing their crypto portfolio different now than when you started the company 3 years ago?
Well, when we started out 3 years ago, there wasn't any meaningful way by which you could borrow against your assets. So if you were in a need of liquidity, only thing for you was to sell, and selling induces
On the
even more
market, yeah.
selling on the market. Yeah, a lot of pressure. But I remember, like, we saw some of the Ethereum that we received from the token sale, and I remember, like, putting in a market order for 800 Ethereum or something like that on Kraken, or what was it?
Mm.
And Ethereum was trading like like $1,000, and so it's a substantial order, and the market just absorbed it right away. It was that much liquidity, and that's pre-wash trading,
Yeah.
or market makers. So the liquidity was really there because everybody was excited. Now the thing with liquidity is that it dries up precisely when you need it. So the way it is different today is that you have a whole suite of different products which allow you to borrow against your assets rather than sell it, what Silicon Valley and Wall Street have been doing for the best part of the past 30 years, if not forever. Wealthy people in general. And, with the Biden administration talking about taxing the rich,
Yes.
wealth tax, whatever, luxury taxation, is going to be, from a selfish point of view, not that bad for Nexo because even
No, it's going to be
more
great for
people,
you.
yeah, exactly. But more people will come to realize that, and they have been doing it. This is a larger trend. I remember like explaining it in 2018, and people like, yeah, that's interesting, but they didn't really grasp the implications. And now, like organically, they were forced to focus on that. So
I know.
it's definitely much different than what it used to be.
No, you bring up that Biden administration new tax thing where like the capital gains tax, and that's one of the reasons why like people are scared of a potential like the only bear market potentialities is something like a crazy, tax on crypto gains or something. But looking at that capital gains tax, a lot of people think, and I thought too, that the tax system here was based on like how much you earn. So when you're earning money, you're paying taxes on that, right? And then so it doesn't matter if if you're not selling because you're making when you're earning this money. But it doesn't work that way. So most people are going to be setting up their tax strategy in a way where if they're earning $1 million in income over the year, and then uh that income comes in, and you're a business, you're a sole proprietor, you run a limited liability, and I run this business. Untold Stories is a business or whatever. If you're a painter, if you're a business or whatever you do, you're a crypto guy and you earn $1 million, but you do it, this is not tax advice, of course. You don't Your tax strategy can be set up where you're not paying taxes on that $1 million until you actually need to spend that money. That's
Yeah,
how the American tax system is built. So I will see everyone depositing that $1 million in something like Nexo and borrowing against it and only withdrawing as they need it. But then that interest is the interest is a write off towards your
yeah,
tax bill, and so
exactly.
it's very simple to amend your tax strategy. I would argue that the new Biden tax plan is going to push more money into crypto because people are going to look at, whoa, what are assets that I can quickly collateralize and then liquefy and borrow against without a credit score? Fucking crypto,
Right.
nothing else.
Absolutely. And we haven't deployed a single lobbyist to work on this legislation. It's just, everything is lining up in the favor of crypto in general and by extension to Nexo. It's funny.
So what is like 3 years down the road? What is Nexo now? A lot of people are asked sometimes about licenses and about team pictures on their website.
Yeah.
Um, what do you what's the update on everything as it is right now?
Right. Well, we are starting an initiative in the large due by popular demand from the community. We are one of those companies that are trying to listen to our community and adapt accordingly. And what they view as important, we view as important. And transparency is something that has been brought up. And I always say this: is not that we are like per se intransparent people. It's just like we feel that interests of the business are better protected. That by not necessarily revealing absolutely everything to absolutely everyone who might take an interest, because I am the person who deals with legal and
Sure.
compliance as a managing partner. And, I know what it takes to have been asked by the regulator, what are these 15 letters by unhappy people that we received last month? And can you quickly please explain that? And it's just like, quite frankly, I would use my energy and deploy it in something creative, in something that fosters and brings us to the next level, rather than explain myself to why a disgruntled client who probably was over leveraged, quite frankly.
It's a tightrope. You have to walk a tightrope,
Yeah.
right?
But the thing is, we are listening, and we are starting a Nexo Transparency Initiative, which will go in a couple of directions. First of all, I started doing this Ask Me Anything sessions at least once a month. This has helped a lot. We are going to have a dedicated section on the Nexo website where we'll list like every single license that we have, and
Oh,
also
very
the
cool.
pending
No one
ones.
does that. That's a really big deal.
I know why they're not doing it,
Yeah.
because it creates all the more
Well,
trouble. We probably have to hire 10 more people with legal just dealing with the
remind me to tell you a
aftermath.
story after you
Yeah,
finish.
sure. And then, we'll have like listed the licenses in California, how we're compliant in Switzerland, what we're doing for the great state of, I don't know, Texas or Oregon or Florida, where you base. So we're going to update on that transparency front. There's something we're going to announce very soon, which is going to put a lot of people at ease about Nexo, and create even more trust in the blockchain space. I'm not gonna quite say what it is, but I'm gonna say that Kraken did something similar in 2014,
Yeah,
15. So if you're catching my drift, you'll know what it is. But I'm not,
sure.
announcing more than that. But yeah, we're working on that. So, and just having the team on the website, it's like we're hiring 20 people a month. So the graphic designers, they have to be
Yeah.
updating the website almost daily.
DeFi, DeFi, DeFi. You keep hearing me talk about it, and we know at the same time that the stock market is at record highs, but the economy is broken in recession. Government debt is off the charts. They're printing trillions of dollars. We need a new financial system, and I've been talking about it. We've all been talking about it. Decentralized finance. We know that too. We know that there's like $40 billion in value sitting in all these DeFi protocols, and it's barely a year old. It's new decentralized finance, and it's brilliant, and it works. And there's a lot of money to be made in things like yield farming, being able to provide liquidity, but a lot of them are high risk. There's scams and rug pulls that are so common to investors. We don't want to repeat what happened a few years ago in the crypto space. But what if there was a way to access those DeFi yields in a safe and transparent way? Well, I have the CEO, Tim Frost of Yield.app, my newest sponsor on the show. Listen to that show and check out Yield.app, because here you have this team that is constantly filtering through all these DeFi investments. They're consolidating your gas fees, and they're only investing in a select few that generate more than 20%. But their risk is they're not just investing in these tokens and waiting for them to do well. They're also providing liquidity. They're doing yield farming. All these low risk, high investment to make the infrastructure more efficient and better. So not only you're investing in making money, but you're also helping to grow this ecosystem. Make sure you check them out at yield.app. That's yield.app. And listen to the Untold Stories with Tim Frost, the CEO. Hey guys, it's Charlie. And remember that time we interviewed Antoni Trenchev from Nexo Finance? Well, they are on a roll right now, offering 5.9% APR on your crypto credit. You'll be able to borrow at less than 6% on some of your crypto. They got a savings account that's offering 12% interest a year. And now they have an integrated exchange so you can trade between all your cryptos without ever leaving their integrated wallet. It's so amazing. Make sure you check it out at nexo.io and start earning interest, start managing your assets, because crypto banking just got real with Nexo. I love that. That's awesome. I love Nexo. It's such a great company. Our partners over at Kava Labs and Binance just launched something really cool, an awesome new integration where you can earn 10% APY on your hard stablecoins using the Binance DeFi platform. This is actually pretty cool because Kava Labs has been doing DeFi, but actually in a decentralized way, offering governance for their token holders, and not only with their stablecoins, but their lending products, all their the ability to stake and vote and earn different yields and liquidity mining. So not only is Kava Labs doing that, but partnering with Binance gives it that awesome, like full trailblazing go ahead to offer these really, really good yields with an amazing partner, Binance and Kava Labs together. Check them out at untoldstories.link/Kava. That's untoldstories.link/Kava. There's always some specials and crazy stuff going on. Enjoy. If I started working at a crypto company now, I'd asked to not have my face on the website because what happens to some of my friends is that the
Yeah.
police will call up and do like fake. Oh, there's a hostage at this person's house. It happened to
Really?
Jameson Lopp. Yeah, swatting it's called. They say, oh, there's a hostage, and the police come to the house. Not only that, people don't realize up until 2016, uh, if you wanted to wire money to a Bitcoin exchange, even Bitfinex, they wouldn't publish their wire transfer information on their website. You would have to apply to ask to wire money in because as soon as the bank became public, everyone would attack that bank. There is a quiet regulatory war going on
Yeah,
against
absolutely.
the infrastructure in our industry, your
It's
companies,
gotten
every
better
Bitcoin
though.
exchange. Dude, it's the same. Remember they went after correspondent banking 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They tried to shut off all banking to all crypto companies in one swoop, like a year or two ago,
Yeah.
by shutting off Bitfinex correspondent. Like there is a constant battle. People don't think it's like, yeah, it's not just happy go lucky. Folks
Yeah.
like you're waking up every morning and you're just like, ah, I have to deal with like the regulators and the stuff today. Thank you for doing
Absolutely.
God's work because I never want to do it
Thank you.
again.
No, but the thing is, like, we have from a security perspective, like we have multi-signature, so I don't necessarily worry about anyone kidnapping me. I'll be useless unless they kidnap
It's
all
more
of
for
us.
like pissing people off. It was more
Right,
of
but
that, yeah.
I'm here. I'm not hiding anywhere. I'm on Bloomberg. I'm on CNBC. I'm on Untold Stories every now and
Do you wear
then.
makeup on Bloomberg?
Sorry.
Do you wear makeup?
I I have had problematic skin since a teenager, so yes, I do wear a little bit of makeup even now. And it doesn't have to do anything with vanity. It's just like with Nexo, we're perfectionists, and I want like the way I choose my wording very carefully and precising. I want to, you know, uh, put Nexo in the best light possible. That's why I put makeup on.
Oh, you actually reminded me of there's a guy. So I want to give a special shout out to Dr. Adam Shiner. Thank you, Doc, because he's a skin doctor here in Tampa, and he's been helping me and my mom too, and everyone. And he takes crypto, and I helped him out because he had some money stuck at Binance, and
Yeah.
he came and he gave like I almost got a lip injection for free, but I like chickened out last minute. But thank you, Doc. You're awesome. Um,
I might
it,
visit him when we come to
he's the
the
best.
Bitcoin thing in Miami. So,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I
right.
can't wait for that. So Bitcoin Miami is gonna be lit in June. Oh, 15% discount if anyone uses the coupon code untold for Bitcoin Miami conference in June. I'm excited to be there and everyone will be there.
And
Um,
we'll finally meet in person.
I can't
We've been
wait.
having a virtual relationship for over a year now.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I'd love to host you
Yeah.
for brunch. We're doing like an after conference brunch on a Sunday, so we'd love to have you.
Can't say no to that.
That would be
Looking
so
forward
nice.
to that. Cool.
So tell me more about like, you wake up and it's day 100. So like
Yeah.
3 years ago plus 100 days, and now you're around day 1,000. Like I don't know, 3 years times three, 365 times three. I'm bad at math. Someone,
Yeah.
I bet you one of my podcaster listeners is like, Shrem, you don't know 365 times three? Well, it was close enough. 1,095 days. So you're at day
That's how
1,000.
you're holding on to your crypto. You don't calculate it in
No, you
dollars,
don't
and that's
calculate
why
it.
I'm being
At
bad
day
in that.
1,000,
Yeah.
roughly. How have things changed?
Well, I wake up and I don't worry about compliance and banking partners because crypto is omnipotent. It's everywhere. Is percolated through every sphere of life. So we don't even say crypto anymore. Much like we don't say the internet anymore. It's just like everybody knows it's part of an integral part of the system. So I wake up and I can focus on productive business things, and it's like we don't have to worry about banking partners and licensing because all of that has been cleared, and we
Over
can
the years, yeah.
over the years. And we have a banking license by then, definitely. So we are offering like an even wider range of different products for our clients across the globe. And it is like we are focusing on making the customer experience even better, like Apple style, where it's 3 clicks and you have accomplished precisely uh, what you set out to do, and people are saying about Nexo, it just simply works. Not that it doesn't work right now, but
Yeah.
obviously there's some aspects in friction. when you have to touch the real economy and fiat currencies and whatnot. So that has been cleared out, and we're having our eyes on how to go to the next level.
And talking about next level, there are very few companies, if not any that I can think of, uh, that distribute dividends to token holders. There are a few crypto projects that do it. It's being done more on chain now. There's some NFTs. You see it through like artist royalties. You see dividends, what like liquidity mining on certain projects, offering staking percentages and yields, and we can get into that. But you actually offer like 30% of your profits in dividends, and you guys have been doing that, and everyone's been very happy. Do you
Especially
see?
if they held down to their Nexo, which has like
Oh,
10x.
it's crazy appreciated. I
Right.
remember. But the question that I have is, do you see that further being done on chain? Do you see like, because your business makes like it's a real business. There you have products, you have revenue, multiple revenue streams. So you'd look at your token as a prime example of like one that would distribute dividends. Would it would doing it on chain be easier for your accounting purposes? Do you think down the road companies that offer dividends like this using a token mechanism would do it all on a blockchain? Like what's the future of that?
Well, I definitely think we are headed that way. First of all, it creates less friction. Second of all, it is auditable, so you can be held to accountability of what exactly you have done. So I think we're headed there. It's going to take probably longer than crypto fans like ourselves want it. Revolutions, they take longer than expected. So that will be my estimate. But, with regards with the Nexo dividend, we have been very happy to be paying it out. People are always okay. They always want more. It's the
Yeah, of
nature of
course. Totally.
that's human nature, and it's actually what drives us forward. Like as soon as you capture one castle and you're starting to look for the next one, is what drives us forward, and ultimately. But I think that what we have envisioned right now, the governance element to the Nexo
Yeah,
token,
cool.
is going to be great as well, because it's going to, for instance, like a lot of people say, I'm happy with dividends. A lot of people are saying, I would much rather get interest paid out daily as on Bitcoin in Nexo, and I would prefer that to a dividend. So, it's very difficult for entrepreneurs to know exactly what their customer base wants, because it's usually the loudest people, and you get a sense that this is what everybody wants. But quite often there is a silent majority who will not tell you what they
Sure.
want, or if they're unsatisfied, they'll just go somewhere else, or a quiet protest, and you have to proactively ask them. So I think when you ask me about the future, I think this is the future. It's going to be the blockchain technology that is going to help us better estimate, predict, and react to what the customers and the investors want, which
That's
I think
so
is awesome.
important. Which what?
Which is awesome.
It's really important. You talk about that, and you said what I was going to say, but anyone who started a business or two or three or four knows that it comes a time that you're running your company and you just don't really know what you're doing or why you're doing it. You don't know what your customers want. You lose. When you start a business and you build a product or a service, in the beginning you build it because you know exactly what you or the customer would want. You're building a product or a service for a demand that's there. But over time, as it gets bigger and more successful, you lose sight of that, and you don't, not you, but most companies don't know who their actual customer is. And it's the reason that loyalty points and 20, 30 years ago started to crop up to have better engagement with the customer. But now you're saying like, instead of focusing on the loud people on Twitter or like the three or four people, because you can do governance. If you were to do a vote like, hey, do you want percentage of profits or a flat based percentage yield on the token, you could theoretically put that out to the governance of the token holders. And I bet you the answer will be different. The vote will be different than what the vocal minority wants on Twitter.
You put it so precise and so eloquently. I have nothing to add to that. I see it exactly like that. So, we are working on the governance proposals just to make sure that the way they're structured and put out to vote, we can then actually implement them. Worst thing, having a governance vote which decides something and then the dev team, the
Yeah,
engineers say there's going to take 12 months to implement and it's going to be a total disaster. So we are quietly testing that, and once that gets going, we'll be putting
that's
a
so
whole
cool.
bunch of exciting things to vote, and we'll next will be precisely what the people want it to be.
Maybe the first true people's companies, but that that you can't really say that now. It's communism is still a fear. Maybe a few more decades you can say that.
Yeah, well, going back to my background, growing up, well, not really growing up, but being born in a communist country,
Sure.
I know what it's all about. So,
And I was gonna say you're a former
not gonna
member of
worry.
parliament yourself, so you
Yeah,
understand what it's like to have like a fine-tooth comb always looking at your life every second of the day, because
yeah,
that's what happens when you're in government. Um, speaking of government, when the United States government attacked uh Ripple and XRP a few weeks ago, or I think it was like a month or two ago, um, everyone was talking about it, but they weren't really talking about, to me, what was so important about that. And to me, the United States sent a message basically saying you can be as decentralized as you want, but all we need to do is fire one shot at this company, at this head office of Ripple, which is your fourth largest. They obviously went for the lowest hanging fruit right there. But then,
that's what enforcement
yeah, but then
agencies do.
exactly. But then the crypto companies, a lot of crypto companies, because now they're regulated and they have banking relationships, decided to pause, if not suspend XRP altogether. Some have added it back, but I think that wasn't really talked about as much, like how the crypto industry reacted to that from our gut reaction. Maybe instead
Right.
of having a gut reaction, the industry should have put out a message together, like, or maybe like delisting or listing. I don't know. I don't sit in your chair, so I don't know. But how do you tell me about that morning?
Right. Well, it really is very complex. It's one thing you want to do as an entrepreneur, it's another thing that your clients and investors want to do. And then the legal team that we and the law firms that we work with in the United States, they usually have a third view, and it has to be the predominant view because could potentially jeopardize everything. Now, and it add to that, to this mix, the fact that, quite frankly, the SEC has been quite inconsistent in their approach of what is a security, what is not a security, and there has to be very little forward guidance. Hopefully, that will change now that we have a chairman,
Yeah.
in the person Gary Gensler. This is a person who has actually taught courses in university on blockchains. He knows what this is
That's
all
really
about.
all you can ask for. The person who's in
Right.
the position, just I want them to be as knowledgeable as me. Just
I
know
want
everything.
clarity. That's
Yeah,
all I want. I can work with everything. I just want clarity. And so it wasn't the best thing to wake up to, but ultimately we have to do what our legal counsel and our law firms advised us to do, and it is what we done. We temporarily put on hold only the repay function for XRP,
oh, interesting, okay.
and taking out new loans. So you could put in more collateral, you could repay your loan, you can withdraw, not repay your loan, but you could withdraw your XRP, transfer, exchange it for Bitcoin, and then pay it off with Bitcoin.
So
So
you were
I do
willing
not know.
to
I
take
don't
the
know what
risk?
the commotion was all about and why we got attacked from some of the people of the community. I have nothing against Ripple. I have nothing against XRP, but it's just what we were advised to do, and there was some upheaval. And if they're going, the people that are going to make it their life's mission to defame Nexo, and
Sure.
do anything to the detriment of the company, we're going to take all legal action to protect ourselves, the company, and by extensions, the client and the investors. It's the most natural thing to do. I'm sure, like the S&P 500 companies, they are doing this in court, both on the defense, on the offense, all the time. So just another sign that we are on the right track here, growing as a company.
Why would they give
That
you
we
why
have
would they give you crap if you took risk? You took when you did that, you as a company took on risk on behalf of your customer. Because what you did was say, "Hey, yeah, liquidity is dead on XRP. All exchanges canceled it today. But what we're gonna still let you do is add more collateral with this potentially dead asset."
yeah.
So you put yourself in a position on behalf of
Yeah,
your
to some
customer.
extent. Yeah,
What
we have
why would
very
anyone
good.
give you shit about that? That's
I don't know.
amazing. Thank you for doing
I
that.
don't know.
Now, if you didn't allow people to, like, add more collateral, that would be a different story. Well, not still not bad, but a different story. But hey, like, it's you're not letting people take out new loans. That's very, like, morally important because here's a dead asset, potentially dead asset. Now it's not, but during that day, people thought XRP was dead. But you still let people to prevent them from getting, like, liquidated. You
Yeah.
allow them to add more. Like, kudos to you. That's a big deal.
I think so as well. And like we try to be as flexible as legally possible. And
Oh, I like that term. Flexible is legally possible. I'm gonna tell my trainer that in the gym.
we have coined some nice terms here. This is one of them. Last time we came up with taking over the world in a compliant manner.
Yeah.
So, organically we're hitting here. But I was told by somebody who had worked at the SEC that the SEC was particularly pissed off at Ripple. I don't know if it's true. This is a
Mm.
story that this person told me, and he's a lawyer, very good lawyer. Apparently, like um, Ripple, somehow the SEC got their hands on two legal opinions by reputable law firms that said, well, the way you are developing the token, the SEC might judge this to be a
Okay, I see
security,
what happened
and
there.
they went ahead with the way they did, despite these legal letters, and that's why they put like a target on their back. I don't know if it's true, but I thought it's an interesting story to share for Untold Stories.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I believe it. I believe it. It's usually something like that happens. So anyways, but I mean, it's so nice to see, like, the crypto community growing as a whole and the industry growing. It's nice to celebrate companies that are around for all this time. Um What there are just, like, 1 or 2 more questions that, while I have you to clarify some things up at the overall industry. What when people are talking about, like, when I keep money at Nexo or anywhere, and then these companies have insurance, what does that actually mean? What are the different type of, like, insurances, and how do they work, and what's the point of them? And then what does Nexo look like?
Right. We have, as of today, $375 million of insurance on custodial assets, which means like the the assets at Nexo that
Yeah.
the wallets that people will be depositing to. And this means that this is protected predominantly against cyber attacks, cyber theft, just the potential vulnerabilities of our security and the custodians that we work with. And it's a great thing to have because, the more complex the software is, the more prone it is to bugs, loopholes, something you oversaw. And this is another great thing about the blockchain space is because of the irreversibility of transactions, at least like in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the harder assets. We are getting stress tested on a daily basis because it's. I remember this
Yeah.
this instance like where Deutsche Bank, they sent a client of them like 500 million by mistake, and as soon as they realized it, they just took it out in his account. And you know what's going to happen if you
I remember
wire me
that, yeah.
500 if you wire me 500 million of BTC. That's will perhaps be the last time we speak.
Yeah.
Just kidding here, but it's irreversible. I have to give it back in good faith. So it means that the illicit actors, the bad actors of this world, they're looking at companies as such as ours, constantly for exploits, and the fact that I can give you a track record of 3 years of zero exploitations, tells you something about a system and our system in a way that it has been stress tested that no other bank or financial institution or company has been. Obviously, like the Coinbases, the Binances, all of us are in this together, and we are being stress tested on a daily basis. So I would argue that it is actually much safer, because people say, okay, you have a couple 100 million, but you have like billions in dollars under assets. Okay, so how protected is your money at your FDIC insured bank? It's up to $250,000. If you're
Yeah, it's
lucky to be above that, you're just like totally unsecured. How protected were the depositors of Lehman Brothers? Like, okay,
you have
I
more
mean,
protection holding money in a stable coin than you do in a bank account legally, because like
I
you
would
said, like
argue for that as well.
250K where you
Yeah,
keep a million USDT or USDC, USDC, you have 3 banks issue that. You have better legal ramifications going, if that money disappears than you do with your
absolutely.
small little bank. But I mean, my belief of the future is that
Yeah,
companies like Nexo, then you have will that have revenue streams, that have governance and users, will end up potentially becoming issuing their own currencies through private public partnerships. So like governments will come to companies and say, "Hey, issue your stable coin and we'll like kosher it and we'll like,
yeah,
see how it looks on a test bed." But that's how you're going to see digital, stable coins that are like blessed by governments, because they're going to be issued by companies such as yourself. And that's how I see the future. You're de facto, like you said, eventually with banking licenses and credit card and debit card, being able to offer all functions of banking within a crypto app. There's no need to ever, access the traditional banking
I
world ever again.
would have thought that the regulators and the politicians would have nodded in agreement to what you just said, and I thought this is what they're going to do with Libra, or
Sure.
I don't know what they changed it to, but Facebook's stable coin, and I was surprised to find out that apparently this project had not been run by any sort of political body, and they didn't have the backing. I was quite surprised. I thought that when you're a company as big and you have as ambitious
Yep.
plans as they did, and the client
They
base of
just did it.
close to 4 billion, they just went ahead without getting a nod of approval at least. But
I could
so
just imagine
that
those conversations, like Facebook going to MasterCard, like, "Hey, we're gonna do this. Are you on board?" It's like, won't the government get pissed off? Yeah, we're gonna take care of it. All right, we're on board. Hey, Visa, you on board? Like, just going to every company, and then on day one, the government didn't like Libra, and then like 10 of the first companies dropped out of the association. It was funny, but then they're back.
I
It's
have this conspiracy theory that some of the people that joined only joined to leave
oh, protests, yeah.
in protest and discuss, like, okay, we're totally appalled of what's happened over here.
Look,
But that's my
we're we're
personal
in
theory.
we're in a stage of life now where governments around the world are feeling threatened. And governments are feeling that for the past 30, 40 years, they never had to prove to the citizens their existence. They never had to say, well, some countries do. You see like uprisings and stuff like that. But the uprisings have been happening a lot more. And the revolutions, you look at things like the Arab Spring, but that was just the beginning. You're going to see it a lot more. Uh, you know, what's happening in my view is that these governments are saying, shit, like, we're not in control of our monetary policy. We're screwing up. People are getting pissed off. And that was typically okay because they had nowhere else to go. But now they have somewhere else to go. And when you back government into a corner, it's a scary thing. And the thing is, most people that work for government are great people. My friends all work in government here. It's like civil servants. It's an amazing thing when you decide to work for society. It's an amazing thing. You yourself were in government. So like that's not a negative thing. It's more of like when you create like hostility, that's what I fear. It's like the whole gold versus Bitcoin debate is a great
Yeah.
example. That was never created by Bitcoiners. That was created by gold people who are starting to feel backed into a corner and their existence being jeopardized. So they created the gold versus Bitcoin debate. I love gold. I love Bitcoin. No reason to have a one or the other.
Yeah. Well, apart maybe from Grayscale, with who had the
Yeah, they
drop
did those
gold
TV.
campaigns. So it was a
Barry Silbert's
provocative thing.
laughing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no,
Tony,
I totally understand where you're coming from. It truly is like that. And, Sun Tzu, the art of war, it says, like, don't put your enemies back to the wall, because, like, the only thing they can do from there on is, just fight back. So
yes,
we don't want to be doing that with government, because they still have uh, some
a lot of
sway of
resources. Yeah.
a lot of resources.
And at the end of the
Um,
day, we live in a society. You live in a
yeah,
society. Do you want to live somewhere where you're just fighting society all day, or do you want to live at peace, harmony, and
right.
joy?
But the thing is, like, crypto and Bitcoin, it was born out of the helplessness of how the financial crisis was dealt with. And this has actually accelerated. I have been on my personal account, nonetheless. I have been trying to short the S&P 500, or tried until I learned my lesson, like, for 7 years, and it kept on rising, because, like, every problem imaginable, what is the government solution? They
Yeah.
just throw more money at it. And, like, in nominal terms, it keeps on growing. What's the purchasing power? Like, right now we have probably between 6 and 10 trillion
Yeah.
more dollars, competing with the existing dollars that we had a year ago. It is natural for something like Bitcoin and crypto to be taking off the way it did. It is,
Inevitable.
no, but it's like the people. I don't want to say the peoples, because it sounds a little lefty,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, uh, the criticals people way to figure out answers to the questions that, quite frankly, the government doesn't have answers to. And how do we deal with all of that? Well, we are found a way, and hopefully we'll be able to continue developing tools, and, convince the government it's better for this to implement in, the real sector, in banking and finance, and something positive comes out of it.
Tony Trenchev, the founder and CEO of Nexo, happy birthday, 3 years. Thank you for coming on the show today. And I just want to point out to everyone, um, Nexo offers, simply put, the best and rates in the industry. If you're looking to borrow against your crypto, if you're on tons of different assets, if you're looking to be able to earn yield on your crypto, very high percentage rates. If you're looking to be able to just have a place to keep your crypto and hold it to, there's definitely a place for having controlling your keys, not your crypto. Cold storage is important, but at the same time, keeping your money and having it work for you is the point of financial independence and self sovereignty. So I'm a big fan of it. Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Happy birthday, and I'll see you in Miami in a few weeks.
Thank you, Charlie. Looking forward to that.